Hello, and thank you for joining us for another Truth for Youth. Many of you will have received your grades for your GCSE and for your A-levels, and listen, I hope you got what you needed for your university or whatever it is you're going in ahead to do. I trust the Lord will bless and use you, and many of you, as you now move into doing A-levels, or maybe you're going to university or you're moving into full-time employment. I trust the Lord will use the gifts and talents which He has granted graciously to you. And with that in mind, I want to read a verse of scripture with you. It's Judges chapter 3, and it's about a very encouraging individual in the Bible. His name is Shamgar. He was one of the judges. And after him, that's after Ehud, was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. Here's a man, and we know virtually nothing about him, and we know that his name means sword, and he literally became a sword in the hand of God. But he was a very ordinary man. He appeared to come from a very ordinary family. And this was a difficult day in which he was born. The next judge, Deborah, she wrote a song, and she said in that song, "In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travellers walked through byways." And what Deborah's doing there is she is describing the day in which Shamgar lived. It was a day of great fear and trouble and turmoil. People were afraid to go and walk on the main roads for fear of being attacked or robbed, okay? So it was a really difficult day in which he lived. But the Lord took this very ordinary man and invested him with power and was mightily used of God. So here you have a very ordinary man being taken up and used by an extraordinary God. And there is no more desirable position that we could be in, being used in the hand of a mighty God. Like I said, Shamgar, we don't know much about him, but we know this: he did a great work for God. That's why he's remembered. It says here that he slew 600 Philistines, and that's a big deal. If someone slew 600 wimps, it would be a massive accomplishment. But he slew 600 Philistines, and the Philistines were giants. They were an aggressive, warmongering people. They were very intelligent. They're known for their innovative use of iron, so much so the Israelites had to go to the Philistines to get their iron tools sharpened. They had those 5 massive cities. They had 5 lords that ruled over each city, and they would have come together to fight in times of national crisis. But the Philistines were physical giants, and they were intellectual. So to slay 600 of them single-handedly was a massive, massive event. And that's what the Lord enabled this ordinary man, Shamgar, to do. But not only is, it's not significant only because he killed so many, but it's because of the instrument that he used. It was a very ordinary tool. He used an ox goad. What's an ox goad? Well, it was something apparently that a man would use if he was ploughing the field, okay? As he holds the plough, the ox that's pulling it might go to the left or to the right. And so he would take his ox goad, an approximately 8 foot stick, and he'd hit it in the shoulder. And that would pull the ox back into line so that it would walk straight. So it was a very ordinary instrument. The best and most expensive ox goads might have had a piece of metal at the end to hit the animal with to make it more effective. But that's about it. And God took this man with a very ordinary instrument to do a great task. That ought to encourage you and me. Maybe you've got your grades and you're finished your education and you feel maybe ill-equipped to be out serving the Lord. But the reality is, God can use anyone who absolutely gives themselves to the Lord. Here's a man with an ox goad, and yet the Lord accomplished great things through him. The Lord does use the likes of Moses and Paul, Hezekiah, intellectual giants. The Lord also uses the fisherman. He also uses the Rahabs and the Shamgars. And so we ought to pray that God would take ordinary people like us and do exploits through us, that we would see his kingdom extended and many people saved and won for the Lord. So be encouraged. May the Lord make you a Shamgar in your family, in your school, university, place of employment, and may the Lord mightily use you. Thank you for watching.